Welcome, Atlanta United family, to what seems to be bi-weekly shows as of late. But
Okay.
that's been my fault. But hey, we're here. We had a pretty good weekend overall. I think as a fan base for Atlanta United. Before we get to you know the actual topics that we're gonna be hitting, though, obviously subscribe to Feel Sports Podcast on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You can follow me like personally at Resurge Spike ATL on Twitter, at ATL UTD James. You can
Let's
follow him
go.
there on Twitter as well. And well, let's get to it, guys. The first thing, obviously, was that emphatic first half that we had from Atlanta United against Charlotte. Probably, I want to say the first 45 minutes that have really impressed. Personally, with the squad that we had, at least, going into this game. I honestly was not thinking that game was gonna be 3-0 going into halftime. Um, but hey, possession ball wasn't what we're accustomed to. It was more of that transition ball, more of what we're somewhat accustomed, I guess, from the beginning from Atlanta United. We weren't really accustomed to seeing them kind of control the game when it comes to possession. It was more of that quickness, and the direct attack that they had. But we had, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know. James, you were there.
Yeah.
It was it was a whole vibe. There was a lot of supporters out there. Whenever I went to the parking area where where the supporters were at, when they started marching into the stadium and everything. I mean, it was a lot of people out there, honestly, for the Atlanta side. It was a lot of support. Um, so that was good to see, man. I'm thinking that it's starting to get to that phase where we're getting that illusion back, or was it not illusion? Yeah, I think that illusion is the right word, or like that feeling that we might be cooking something this season. We might be getting into something.
Yeah. And going back to what you said about, more transition play, I feel like Charlotte just made you do that. It felt like a lot easier for us to get forward, especially two times where they came to goals and then the throw in where they just let us go. But yeah, the game felt more free. It felt like you could do what you want. And it felt like we were playing an old version of ourselves because Charlotte literally just moved the ball as slow as possible and then played in some crosses. It was a horrific performance from them, but
Yeah.
yeah, Charlotte definitely opens you up to be able to do what you want, and you saw it in the first half. It was commanding lead, and I mean you saw it in the second half too. They didn't go full tempo. We need goals, but it was still, a clean sheet in the second half, and you basically could still get forward and be menacing even when you're not really trying to because Charlotte are just that bad. And that was definitely a performance you expected and one you needed. So
That
huge,
that, that
huge
was
3
the
points.
biggest thing, and the first half was just so well rounded. I don't think that Charlotte really had any major opportunities. I think other than that one header that they had in the first like couple minutes, or like that.
Yeah.
No, not the header. The free kick that they had, or like right in front of the of goal, basically. But overall, my biggest thing going into the second was like, yeah, keep a clean sheet. If you can score more goals, obviously, when it comes to that final stretch, you never know if goals are going to become a major issue, or a major point where, yeah, it counts to where you make it to the playoffs or not.
Hmm.
So that's obviously something that you have to look whenever you're facing a team like this, where they're a weaker team, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
you just have to be honestly, like, pretty straightforward. I mean, they're just really bad, honestly. Like, overall, they're just. too many sloppy touches. I don't know. Low key, they kind of remind me of Atlanta United side at times.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
where-
totally.
as as bad as it sounds, as it made it or it makes us sound a bit, but hey, it's the truth, honestly.
I feel like that is a totally flipped result of what we saw last year versus Austin, but the other way around, which, an away team coming in and just dismantling the home side. And what Josh is saying about Brooks Lennon, probably, but yeah, he had a fourth of the crosses he had last week, and you could just tell that I've said this, he's more content with playing it back, playing it with our Rougeau instead of, whenever he gets the ball, whether on the corner of the box or down on the side of the goal, he just didn't have to play it in, and he felt like that, and that was really successful. But I mean, yeah, like all the goals were, kind of transition moments when Charlotte just gave you space to run. And you're probably not going to see that again against Portland, but I mean, definitely you took advantage of it really well. And, Lennon was better. Gutman played like 2 crosses in total or something like that. And it was just a lot better all the way around. The second half, a little bit more chances too. Those were quality, a lot more shots outside the box, but there's no urgency for us to try and hit those breaks like we did in the first half. And yeah, if you're up 3-0, if Charlotte got that penalty and it was like 2-1, 3-1 at half, then maybe we would win like 4-1, 5-1. That would be nice. But we'll take the 3-0. We'll definitely take it.
And talking about a real like turning point, honestly, I feel like because man, if that penalty, I don't know. Uh, well, so far we've seen Atlanta United being able to come back from even 1-0, or 1-0, like what 92nd minute, against San Jose, but the attitude and just that extra that they've had so far this season, I think that that's something that personally I said it on the Twitter spaces that the guys from DSS have,
Hmm.
but man, the fact that they're able to like be physical up to 90 plus minute, the fact that they're able to fight, one of those guys, obviously that midfield Sadich, he killed it. I mean, he was obviously key and or a factor obviously in that first play. He gained possession, slide tackle, who got it, I think it was Almada,
Yep.
and then he feeds it to Wiley, wide open in that left side, and then he just bangs it in right onto the goal. And I mean, those are the things that you want. Ibarra is another guy that so far obviously he's been lights out. Honestly, I think that
Hmm.
him and Almada have been two of the three best players without a doubt on the field for Atlanta.
Yeah, we talk about Ibarra defensively, but he had a shot that got blocked that was like totally gonna be challenging for the keeper too. And with the penalty, I mean, yeah, that one was kind of silly. It made, well, I think it was Joswiak or whoever. I think it was him who went down. But I mean, he totally swung and a miss at that like volley in the air. And then, he kept backing up and then fell over. That one was silly. I'm glad they overturned that one. But I mean, they're Charlotte were just terrible, you know. And it made everyone else in Atlanta shine because they could basically do whatever they wanted in the first half and the second half to create chances and to be dangerous.
Yeah, and then I mean the two guys that you had what basically stand out the most
Whoa.
and the high player of the game or whatever,
Yeah.
but technically is because he's not over 18 or over 20, I believe. That's the
So
age
I
limit
don't know.
that they have. But obviously Caleb Wiley, I mean, he had 2 goals and 1 assist. Luis Araujo is another one that had a goal and an assist, or yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
he was. They had
I'm having internet problems. I don't know if this is me.
Pretty good games.
I'm lagging.
Yeah.
I don't know who's lagging. I don't know if it's me or you. Oh, I think it's Arrow. Yeah. Well, shoot, I didn't even know what he's talking about because he
Yeah,
was
just went
freezing up.
off like. Ye-
It's you, bro. um, but yeah, I mean Caleb Wiley. You saw the movement for ETN to come in and start. You know, the whole week basically people are ETN, 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 and then Wiley goes out there and secures his spot for like another couple weeks at least. But it was a great performance. Yeah, thanks, Josh. All right, you're back. Oh, you're gone again. That's a good freeze frame. By the way, I'm watching Austin in the background here. They're creating a lot of chances. They should have a goal by now, I feel like. But
I mean, I'm listening to you clearly. I
you
mean,
can hear
if
me? You
yeah, like
keep going
literally.
in and out.
Yeah, it's just the
You're
screen.
good.
I mean, but
You're good here. Now
yeah.
you're good.
Yeah, both. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's kept up with CCL, the best Champions League in the world.
Hmm.
But yeah, Philadelphia are playing right now.
Oh no, we lost him again when I was taking off my hat. Well, the thing is, we can't refresh because I think he's like the stream leader. We'll lose everything.
Against Alianza from.
You're frozen again. We're struggling.
Wow,
This is.
this
Oh
thing
wait,
is
you're
pissing
back.
me.
You're
This
back.
thing is pissing me off so bad.
Can you refresh without ending it? Do you know? Or
Hmm.
like switch your Wi-Fi or like refresh that or whatever.
Let me see.
Oh, let's go solo podcast. Here we go. Um, I really have like nothing to say.
All right, so
Oh,
we should be back. We should be good.
I think you're good. Yeah,
Dude, that was so miserable just now.
I did.
Felt like I was in a third world country just now with that shitty Wi-Fi. But yeah, no, going back to what we were mentioning before we completely just went off. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, we're talking about the penalty and the fact that that was pretty much I was surprised honestly the fact that we even got that call to go to VAR because given the circumstances and just mentioning it out there right now that Ted Uncle and Jair Marufo are gonna be the officials of this game against Portland this weekend, it literally like just killed my mood for the entire week, honestly.
You're gonna predict a loss because the refs. I mean, that is Ted Uncle though. Gosh, a lot of booing on Saturday. I
Yeah,
don't boo refs because it's a waste
a waste
of
of
my.
breath.
Yeah, it is. But a lot of people around me do, and I think it's funny.
Nah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've said like in a lot of like I've said in 104, like 130, 127, 133, like pretty much every like in 300s as well.
Yeah,
Trust me, there people trash talk the refs so badly
yeah,
everywhere. It's
more
funny
than
as
like
hell.
anything. They put most of their energy into booing the refs. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, but man, uh, as well with the game that we have going on is a rematch of the 2018 MLS Cup that we had obviously
Yeah,
again in Atlanta. Very different side, that we're gonna see with Portland, though, obviously, and Atlanta United, I mean, you only have Miles Robinson and Brad Guzan, and those. That's it. You technically those are the only guys that you have left from that 2018 squad. But man, I was checking the injury list that they have for the Portland Timbers, and they have Felipe Mora. He's out with a left knee injury. Sebastian Blanco, left knee injury as well. He's out.
Mhm.
Jimmy Chara, right hamstring. He's out as well.
My goodness.
Dairon Asprilla, right knee. He's out. Tego Ikoba. Like literally, they are so
Wow.
plagued with injuries, like it's ridiculous. It's
Man.
literally they're having like an Atlanta United 2022 season.
I was about to say, like, this year, I mean, that we've had nobody injured. It's fantastic.
Well,
And
we had Rosetto. He's out right now, or he was
that's
out.
hey, but that's Rosetto though, you know?
But it's weird because technically he's
Sadish
one of
played
those guys that never gets injured.
no, is he really? But no, Sadish played so well. I mean, but now it feels like if a guy, one guy goes down, like I think we got it covered in most places around the field. Not really. Maybe just like midfielders. Like midfielders probably are most depth. Maybe winger, but I mean not striker as we've seen. Barry is
I
the
think
only bad player in the attack this year in
I
all
think the
three games.
weakest probably or the spot that there's like has to be that right or the Brooks Lennon position. Basically, I don't think that Ronald Hernandez is a good enough backup.
Yeah.
I mean, he was starting for the twos. He even scored a penalty. What was it, like 2 days ago
Yeah,
or
he,
yesterday?
he can be the Mikey Ambrose down in the twos. Get some appearances versus Crown Legacy. Or
Yeah, but
the
it just
schedule
feels like
the schedule came out today for that. And they play in like 2 weeks, I think. They start playing, which impressed me. I thought it would start like mid-April at this point without the schedule being dropped, but they play in a couple weeks. That should be fun. And the games are
yeah.
all on like Sunday nights, so it's like perfect. They did a good job with that. But Barry did set up that goal. That's true. A nice little chest. I'll give him credit for that, but it's not crazy. I mean, Wiley did everything with that outside the foot ball. That was really good. But still, I mean, Barry had a breakaway and he was like running through molasses. It was terrible. Like anyone could put that away, but Barry because he's so slow. I did not think
Yeah.
he would be that slow, and we haven't seen him be a target man at all either. So,
No, he's been more of he I think he's I mean, there's a lot of people that would associate with him, like being that Oliver Giroud type of forward, where
yeah.
he's not the goal scorer, he's not that target guy. Well, I think more in like the French national team, Oliver Giroud wasn't or never's really been like that target man. He's been
Oh
more
yeah.
concentrated of being like the guy that creates that space for the wingers to come in.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. No, we lost him again. We lost you again. Oh, this is so unfortunate. All right, here we go. We got Austin
For
in the
that.
fifth. Oh no. Okay, you're back. You're back. I was about to
Yeah.
do some commentary over Austin, but is he gone? Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't do a solo podcast. Like I already forgot what to talk about. I can't do it by myself. I can't do. But hey, Violette looked terrible. I think they're gonna lose this one. I don't. I didn't see the number 10. I don't know if their number 10 is in the game. If he's there, the guy who like was destroyed Austin last time. But I don't know if that's the same striker either. but I think Austin's gonna win like 4-0. Hey,
Yeah, dude, this thing is pissing me off.
yeah, are you? Someone's just turning it on and off in your house or
Yeah,
something.
for some reason, and yeah, I should have honestly gotten this probably sorted out before I try to do a podcast because yeah, my Wi-Fi has been like giving me trouble, like it's been going on and off like this. So
Yeah,
yeah, sorry. Oops.
it's all good.
Yeah.
It's only happened twice in 20 minutes. Yeah, I think Austin's gonna win the leg.
What? They're already up?
No, but I mean, Violet, I don't think it's like virtually even close to being the same team as last time.
Yeah, I mean they were having visa issues and
Yeah,
that sort of stuff, but
I can stat check that. Oh no, you froze again. I would turn your Wi-Fi off
I
on your
still.
phone and turn Wi-Fi off everywhere.
I
Oh, I
mean,
got you. I think you're probably gone again. But let's see. You see, I don't think they have their same players. Austin are starting. I think it's their full team besides a couple players. They do have Zardes up top. Um, I got you now.
yeah. Hopefully it doesn't keep going off like it has been.
Wow, they're not even listed on FootMob. I can't even see who they started last game. Oh yeah, I could probably go here. Yeah, they don't have their number 10 or number 7 at Violette. I don't think it's gonna go well. It's I I explicitly remember number 10 and number 7 were like their best players, and they don't have them. So yeah, I think it's pretty much they have 3 subs as well on FootMob. It says they have 3 substitutions, and they don't have like their 2 best players. They have the same midfielders, similar defense, but I mean, yeah, it's so unlucky. No, they have a different keeper. They don't even have a backup keeper. Um, that's true. They don't have to rely on their attack, but I mean, still, like that winger was so good. He could definitely help you out today. But I mean, yeah, all you have to do is defend. But it's gonna be straight Austin attacks the whole time. Oh, Gallagher, not a great shot. You know what? We could do a watch along. Atlanta United won, and they're gonna win on Saturday. That's all you need to know, right?
All right, there should be no
I
more
got you.
problems with this BS.
I got you now. South Carolina, man, what's going on? It's
Yeah.
lagging.
Uh, dude, honestly, I don't even know what the hell we were talking about. Oh,
Me
yeah.
neither. I don't. Portland,
Jesus Christ,
everyone's
this has
hurt.
been all over the place today.
Everyone's hurt in Portland. That's what I remember, which
Yeah.
sucks. But we know how that feels. So
I mean, when it comes to like the when we're facing a team like Portland or Seattle, obviously there's going to be a lot of expectations. I think Atlanta United, given the momentum that they've had with the 3 games that they've played so far, Portland's got this injury crisis. They struggle against LAFC,
mhm,
away. They struggle against St. Louis at home. I think they're just not in a good spot right now.
no,
They're a weak team, I guess, quote unquote. But I mean,
it's still Portland.
MLS can give you that. It's low
It's
key, and
still
it's a stupid comparison. I know it's like the Premier League, honestly, at times because you see a team like Vancouver go and beat, LAFC or something like that, or
mm,
you see, surprisingly, like Inter Miami. I think that been doing things somewhat well, or Cincinnati, they've picked it up from what they were a couple seasons ago. So uh, it's good to see, something. Or speaking of LAFC, something that came out today or yesterday, I believe, is that their academies were going to be working alongside
Ah.
with Bayern Munich, which I mean that's big. I
Hmm.
think that Dallas had that partnership with them. I don't know what the hell happened specifically, but I mean LAFC. I think they're a good. They. I think it's a city where you find a lot of talent, or you're gonna be able to find a lot of young talent, and obviously Bayern Munich is one of the biggest teams in Europe, so that's gonna be like that pipeline, hopefully, for you know Bayern Munich down the line.
Hmm. I think
Hopefully,
I think it's more LAFC players going to Germany. I don't think it's as crazy as when I first saw it. I was like, "Oh gosh, this is gonna be insane. This is too much." I don't think it's that crazy, but it'll definitely be interesting to see what they do. But I don't think it'll be like, Muzalia isn't gonna come and play for LAFC for a little bit. But man, Bayern. I mean, that's literally one of the best teams in the world. They breed talent up there too. Um, it's definitely ridiculous, but
I think the development is mostly like what they do, and I think that, like I said, LA is. I mean, you have a lot of diversity. You have obviously two big teams, the LAFC, the Galaxy, quote unquote. I mean, still are one of the biggest teams in MLS, and you have a lot of young kids that have grown to probably see LAFC become champions and stuff like that. Obviously, there's that momentum of, or like that enthusiasm of kids wanting to get more involved with the sports, and eventually that leads up to having these talents, or like these kids that are hungry and that want to get better. And obviously
yep.
you saw that with like the likes of Alfonso Davis. I mean, he's probably the only example that really comes to mind. The young guy that had like
It's true.
quality, and that they were able to develop him well enough to where he ended up being like a world star, like left back.
Hmm.
So
Yep. It should be interesting. But um, I feel like going back to Portland, Atlanta, I just feel like Portland with all those injuries to like basically top tier players on their team are gonna come in and play like Toronto. I feel like that's just what's gonna happen. I don't know if you agree with that, but it's
I
that
do.
same.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that they're gonna be the team to try to get forward or try to have
Yep.
that momentum like right from the beginning. Obviously, I
Hmm.
think, and that's something that we've mentioned it in previous episodes, is like you want to make Mercedes-Benz Stadium that a big factor, into the game again, with the fans, everybody just engaged and everything right from the beginning, the players, being locked in. Obviously, that's something, if you're able to like take advantage of like that home field advantage, like right
Yep.
from the beginning of the season, and just throughout the season. And obviously Portland, yeah, they're not the team that they have been, 2 years for what, yeah, for 2 3 years ago or so. But I think that overall, man, they're not gonna be a big threat. I don't expect them to like really be a tough opposition. Honestly, many people like expect, yeah, Portland's gonna be like the biggest test so far. I don't
Yep.
really see it. I don't see it
I
that way.
agree. Yeah, and it's that same thing of scoring first. I used last year. I doubted that sentiment. Like we have to score first, but I mean, it's ridiculous what happens when you do.
Even if that happens, I think that and even playing at home, I think that the team has quality enough, and I don't know how training may go for the rest of the week. I mean, it's still early on the week,
Hmm.
but you still may have Etienne may end up starting. You have Sosa obviously coming back from injury. God knows if Rossetto may be ready by the end of the week. Yakimakis is another name that may be thrown in there, earlier in the mix. So there's still a lot of options. Luis Abram is another one that hasn't even started, and he's a name that you would think that would have been in the starting lineup. But I mean, Pineda has kept his faith on Parada, and obviously Miles has been lights out. He made it to the team of the week alongside Caleb Wiley. So I mean,
Yeah,
you can't move both of them, honestly. You either one. I mean, they've just been that good. They've been pretty solid in the back.
yeah. It's ah, you know, we just got to come out. It's gonna be the same lineup. You expect Yako, of course, but you know,
You think that he'll start? You think? I
it
honestly, and
it's
given
still a
the fact
toss
that
up.
Pineda, if
But he
and
subbed out.
I
He
credit
subbed
I
him out
credit
early. He
I
subbed
kind
him
of
out early.
criticized this that he repeated the lineup, but I was
Yeah,
because I was somewhat expecting Etienne to be ready,
sure.
but I expect the same lineup. Honestly, I don't expect Pineda to change anything. If I
Wow.
mean,
I I think you sub, and I was reacting because Austin scored, and then it got called back. That was funny.
oh,
But
that's funny for real.
uh, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they go Barry because this is like the second game in a row where he gets subbed out really early in the game. And you know what? And that's a sign with Pineda that you're not doing well. We need someone else. So I feel like Yako might make it, and if he doesn't, I won't be too mad. But I also will be in the moment, like everyone. You're like, I'm not watching. What's the point? But I would be surprised if Etienne gets in. And it's difficult. But I mean, no, regardless of the lineup you come out with, you should be able to play your game and do what you want and just try to get that first goal, try to keep the pressure up. And, if Portland allows you to do stuff, you take advantage. Like last game, they gave you space, you took it. You might not have that space against Portland. You might have to rely on crosses, but you should try and press as hard as you can, like Pineda said he would at home. You press, you press, you press. You will get those chances like you did last game, regardless if you press successfully. And they just had a shot of Violet's bench. It's just three guys. It's literally three players and like a couple coaches. That is hilarious. That's so bad. Three people on the bench for Violet in a Champions League
That's
match.
crazy.
It's
That's
crazy.
ridiculous. CONCACAF at its peak.
I mean, literally. Three bench players. Whatever. But yeah, you know, at home you should expect 3 points like we did last week and like we did against Toronto. You want three. And if you get a draw, it's not the end of the world. But if you lose, it might be the end of the world. But I don't expect
Mm,
this.
I don't think it will be, man. And
It it,
even
it
if you
wouldn't.
get a draw, even if you get a draw, depending the circumstances, I mean, I personally think that Atlanta is going to come out on the front foot, try to get a result right from the bat,
Yep.
goal, within the first 15, 20 minutes. That's the ideal case, basically.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you get scored on 15 minutes into the game or earlier, and you're trilling. And I mean, that's going to be the real test for Atlanta United because obviously Portland are going to just sit back, and they're not gonna let anything. I mean, if anything, I would expect them to, if they get a goal in, that's it. They're just gonna sit back. They're gonna park the bus.
I feel confident on this one though because it's not one of those keepers that are like the ghost that always drops a 10 out of 10 performance on you. You know, I don't know who their keeper is. I know it used to be like Vasic or one of those guys, but they've had another one in this year, and I don't think he's that great. And I feel like when you're not playing a Gillespie, Sean Johnson, or an Alec Can like last year, you know, you set yourself with a real opportunity because I mean in San Jose that keeper was good. I forgot his name, but it was Daniel or Danielle or whatever. And then Toronto was obviously Sean Johnson, who had one of the craziest games. I mean, all those keepers, like the famous keepers at MLS, like your Andre Blake, Sean Johnson, they're always just gonna go off. But yeah, well, Portland's midfield is non-existent because they all of them got hurt. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
pretty much.
And Evander he hasn't been great so far. But yeah, I mean they're all hurt. You know, I feel like they're literally us. And you know what? This team just lost to St. Louis at home. They lost to St. Louis. You should feel pretty good about this one. And I think it's fair to expect 3 out of this game. And you know what? If you get a draw where you score in the last minute, I like those kinds of draws. But if it's a draw where, you know, you do nothing, you score it like early and then you do nothing the rest of the game, those ones are pretty disappointing. But I want 3. I need 3 because you got to play in Columbus next week. That's always difficult. Even though we won there in 2021, we should have won there last year, but we got scammed out of a win. We played pretty good in that stadium. But hey, we should win this one at home. I feel like this is a year with what we've seen so far that we should expect this team to go unbeaten at home this year, like something really close to that. Yeah, Almada 2 assists. I mean, Almada scored or assisted in all 3 games. It's ridiculous, a ridiculous run.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I think I mean his game, I mean, last week probably wasn't the flashiest,
yeah.
but he still contributed pretty much in every single play that developed into the game or that went on to lead him into a goal. So
Yep.
you can say I think it was the third one where there were some people that criticized that, you know, it was just him not being able to reach the ball. That's why he just let it go. If you
Mm.
There was another angle that they showed, like somewhat like kind of like front, like showing him in like a frontal view,
Yeah.
and you could kind of see, like, you know, he literally ducked or like jumped over the ball and like let it go, you know.
Yeah, he
And
did.
like fucking genius, man. The guy's just
Yeah.
he's he's literally one of the those players that just with a touch, man, is just able to change the entire game. That's just
Mhm.
how good he is.
Yeah. And with Abram, I mean, I think my speculation on Abram, who hasn't gotten a single minute in the last 2 games, is that he's either not doing well in training or Pineda doesn't feel like it's worth it to take out Parada. But just by the way, Parada has put up 3 fantastic performances, especially last week, especially Charlotte. He played fantastic, like the
Yeah.
whole game. I can't believe it. He's been so great. But I would like to see Abram at least get minutes. I think Abram should have subbed on for Parada, you know, late in the game, get him some minutes. But I guess he must not be doing something in training. I don't know.
Or it could be something. I mean, but if it was something physically, I don't think that it would.
Potentially.
Yeah,
But
they
I
wouldn't
think,
even put him as a sub though. I think.
yeah, I think it's like he hasn't like impressed. And Parada has obviously been impressive. But I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't give him minutes last game. You know, I need Pineda to start switching out center backs more.
I
And you
mean,
know,
but yeah, I mean, it could be for, and I think that some news came out about Parada as well today, mentioning that he wanted to stay, uh, you know, even after his loan
oh yeah.
was up, and that he wanted to be a champion here with Atlanta United and all, and obviously that's kind of shown, you know, with the performances that
Hmm.
he's had as of late. So.
I
Man, props to him.
I feel like you
Him
should.
and Ibarra. I mean, those are two guys that. Or
Mhm.
Rossetto is another one as well.
Yeah.
But those are three guys that have always gotten thrown into like the fire pit at times. When
Yeah.
it comes to like bad performances and stuff like that. But they've kind of redeemed themselves when it comes to at least so far this season. I mean, I don't think that
Absolutely.
there's really been like any like pointing the fingers like specifically so much this season as there was like last year.
Hmm.
Like I don't man, second game of the season last year, I remember freaking Alan Franco just like freaking like shitted on us basically like that entire game on
No.
against Colorado. It was pathetic, honestly.
Yeah, I think Parada is definitely a guy you should throw a contract at this summer if he keeps it up. He wants to be here playing under Pineda, and those are the kind of guys that you need. I mean, you definitely want Abram to have chemistry, but Pineda with his consistency, who wants to play the same players every game, I feel like he should keep rocking out that same back two until it doesn't work. And Abram could get Open Cup minutes and Leagues Cup minutes at this point, but I haven't seen anything from Parada telling me to take him out. I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah. And I mean, even with, I mean, you could say there was, off the top of my head, I don't know specifically what games, but I know there was a lot of goals like that involve, pretty poor marking from Juanjo Parado last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, even so, he still didn't got benched. Obviously, you had depth issues last year, but
Oh yeah.
even so, they still kept faith, with him and everything. Same with Rossetto. I mean, the guy, he was probably the most criticized player along. Man, I
No,
think
it's just him. It was just him last year.
yeah,
That
but
was it.
overall, like I mean, people criticize him. They criticize Joseph, but I mean, with Rossetto, I mean, he's one of those guys. Him, like I said, Ibarra
Hmm.
and Parada lights out so far this year, and hopefully, man, that momentum keeps going. You
Oh
still
yeah.
have Sosa, who just came back last year. Not last year, last week, last game. Um, he got some minutes in, like what, after like 60, 70 minutes in. You still have Ozzy Alonso to come back, which I
Sure.
expect him. I don't think that he's gonna be so much of a starter, even
No,
in
no, no.
like Leagues Cup or any of these games. But I definitely expect him to be that guy to close out the games, like tough games where you're middle of like September, you're fighting, to keep second, third place, something like that. Just like certain situations where that he's gonna be that guy to come in and like just settle the team down. And I honestly don't really expect Ozzy Alonso to be getting a lot of minutes, probably 15,
Yeah.
10 minutes tops per game. I don't
Yeah.
see it more than that.
And that would be great because that means everyone else is healthy, nice and
Yeah.
healthy.
Hopefully that's base case scenario.
Yeah, that San Jose goal was basically wiped from my brain. My goodness. I remember the Araujo slide tackle or whatever, Rossetto missed tackle. But I mean, Rossetto went from the most hated player in the world to a guy you're like, maybe we should try and get him on a team friendly deal because I feel like a Rossetto guy, if he really shows up, he could be your captain for the next coming years. He could be that guy in the midfield, like your captain, your
I
squad
know
player.
you did not just. This man has already been our captain. How
But
did
he
that
was
go?
last year, yeah. But I'm saying he's definitely
Pretty
that
much
guy
everybody was our captain last year.
on Pineda's squad. Like, he was that guy. He never played well, but this year, I mean, it's 2 games, but he certainly played well. But I don't know. I feel like it's hard for it's because everyone doesn't have as much pressure as they had last year, and Pineda's definitely figured his crap out. He's definitely figured something out because I mean, we played. a million times better this season
You
besides the
all right?
first game.
Let me throw this question out though. Let me throw
Let's
this
go.
question out real quick. You really think that is Pineda figuring things out, or is the fact that players know that they have that pressure because they already seen what's happened this offseason with certain people,
Hmm.
or what could happen this offseason if there's no certain objectives met basically.
We look at least the past two games, we've looked different. Maybe the crossing argument of all of that, but it's just there's something different about how we played this year, especially
Yeah.
in
Uh,
Charlotte. There's something there, and there's something there in the press for sure in the first two home games of the year that we haven't seen. There's something there. I can't. It's just how we play. And we're looking
like
if
it
this is
seems like that's the actual like true identity of Atlanta United, and like they
yeah
were somewhat like ever since like Frank de Boer came in, like they were just forced to like try to turn things around to how like way differently to what they were accustomed to.
yeah
And now it's like that identity's back somewhat, and like you're like obviously the fans feed off of that energy from like those transition moments that the team has and everything, and it hasn't happened obviously the past 3-4 seasons, so
yeah, and it's us getting rid of the traffic cones like Moreno and Franco that have allowed everyone to be happy with what they do and know their role and perform their role and do what they need to do to win. And that comes at all levels this year. And you know, it looks good. It looks very, very good so far. You can't say it isn't. But it's about to be halftime in Austin 0-0.
yeah, they
But
ain't coming back.
yeah, Ronaldo Cisneros, he's been playing right wing for Chivas, and he did his
What?
little he did his little like I think he's been playing he's been playing right wing, I think. And he did his little like cut in from his right foot to his left foot. It was basically just inside the box on the right side of the box.
And what,
He
they
hit a
stole
left
it and
foot.
they scored?
He hit a left foot shot. It was like it wasn't even that great, but it somehow was perfectly positioned and like bounced into the corner. And it was against Tigres as well. Not a bad opponent.
Hmm.
It was a good goal. Um, but dude, that Chivas team would be so much fun with Ronaldo Cisneros if Alexis Vega didn't get injured. So unlucky. But yeah, Cisneros somehow scored. That was like the one Chivas game I didn't watch. I didn't watch like the last couple of weeks, but before that, that was the one game I didn't watch because I think it was at the same time as the home opener. But yeah,
Well, last thing before we've kind of been like hitting on and off with the topic of Portland, but score predictions against Portland. Hit them up,
go ahead.
guys.
Yeah,
Uh, I say we win 3-0 again. Bold statement,
ooh.
3-0 again.
You know what? I'm gonna go crazy. I'm going to pick a different score. You have to imagine yourself looking up the score on Google or something like after the game and what it looks like. I'm gonna say just like Toronto last year, I'm gonna go 4-2. 4-2 Atlanta. I don't know. That's a bit the more I think about it, it's pretty wild, but I'm gonna go 4-2. Because
Uh,
Portland score,
probably
they
2-0
lost this.
ATL.
We're gonna destroy a team. They lost to St. Louis last week. A horrible performance. Come on. We we're not losing this one. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who's starting.
Honestly, man, and speaking of, or we've mentioned it already, but man, we had to like make Atlanta or Mercedes-Benz Stadium, like that stadium to be feared again, man.
Yeah.
Clean sheets when it comes to goals scored, like just everything, man. And Josh, man, that 2-1 fall shorts, man. That's why I said 3-0, man. Honestly, I'm
Not enough.
expecting.
We have to win by
I'm,
30.
dude. Honestly, if for some reason we're able to like put more than 3 goals, keep a clean sheet, and just have a good game overall, and just like have a pleasing game, um, dude, the hype train is not gonna stop.
Yeah. Um.
Oh no, Philly scored.
Yeah, I
Hey.
heard that. Yeah. They tweet out something today. Who's gonna score first? Damn it. Um. But
That
yeah,
was so
Josh said
miserable.
it.
Like they're trolling, like they're like so big and bad. Like they've even made it to a freaking like final of CCL or something.
I hate Philadelphia. I hope they don't. So
Honestly, man, I'm not even kidding. And that's the reason why I wore this shirt today. Well, obviously, Olympia, my hometown
yeah,
team, they're playing today, later today. But God, I'm hoping that Philadelphia makes it through, because that means that, or no, do they have a draw after this?
I don't. I think it's stupid, and they don't have a draw.
Yeah, because if I saw the bracket correctly, that means that Olympia plays Philadelphia
Okay.
if both of those play. So
Olympia are
God,
good.
I'm like begging for that freaking matchup to happen, because well, honestly, it'll be a good test for either one. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
good both teams like have their style, and like they play good.
I mean,
But
Atlas haven't been good this year, but Olympia just tore them apart.
yeah,
I
they the same thing like in the counter, man. Like they just absolutely kill them. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't even so much. Olympia is not that team to have possession of the ball either. I mean, they're a team that they're just gonna press you when they know that they have to press, and hit you with the counter as well. But oh man, the dog scored. The dog.
The
That was the
dog, yeah.
dog.
Austin scored, but it was offside. Zardes.
uh,
So man, oh, it could. No, that's way off. But yeah. I mean, Josh said it earlier. I mean, ticket prices looked pretty expensive for Saturday, which means they're probably selling well.
that's
Um,
good. That's
I
good,
think
man.
people are gonna
Listen,
show
man.
out. Man.
That's one thing that I've been like low key begging for, and I know like even though it's gonna hurt my pocket more, that's what like man. I remember like 2018, 2019, man, dude, that
Yeah.
stadium used to be freaking rocking, dude.
Uh-huh.
And obviously COVID and everything obviously has hit a toll on that as well. But man, I really expect for the fans to like really keep turning out and everything. Like we mentioned earlier, there was a really, really good turnout in my opinion from fans from Atlanta United this
Oh
weekend up
yeah.
in Charlotte, like pretty well. Like obviously section 204 and 254 was like completely packed with Atlanta United fans. Then you had
And
like
it,
spots throughout like the field that were like
mhm.
pretty heavily marked in red.
And 323 where we had like 20 people, like 15 people, and where I was, we had a nice little area in the back of that section, but nothing crazy though. It was pretty sad compared to what you guys were doing over there, you know. But it
Yeah.
was fun to hear all the Charlotte fans like moan on and on around us about how bad they were, which was fun. And
It
I could
was it was hilarious because there was some guys that were sitting behind us, and they were like
yeah, I saw
freaking
Charlotte
like
fans.
so pissed at the fact
Yeah.
that there was a play where I don't remember if it was Miles that was just like covering the ball, and like the guy just kind of like let it run out because he knew that he wasn't gonna get piled. Like and that's the thing that kind of like got me, is because he was like the guy behind me was like, dude, what the hell? Just because you got Miles Robinson in front of you, you think that you can't get the ball? Like, dude, just like I'm,
Yeah, bro.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, I mean, you're kind of right, but
Yeah, I remember seeing that there were like light blue guys at the top of the section. I was like, dang, those are some tough tickets to have to deal with.
yeah,
But yeah, I was above the Charlotte supporters section, basically in the corner, and I can see less and less people jumping and chanting as the minutes went by. It was great. At the end of the game, it was like 20 people, like, which is fair. I would probably
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
it,
chanting as much down 3-0 after
dude,
that half.
we you know what's funny? We
Jeez.
haven't even hit about like the funniest part of this entire game, the screen going off. That was the
Oh,
freaking most hilarious part, dude. The
that
freaking
was the
screen, like just
best
completely
timing.
going, like man, it
Technical
reminded me of
glitch.
like my TV, like back in 1990 freaking eight
Yeah.
or 99,
Yeah.
dude.
Like that was because they have those scoreboards on like all day and night basically. They have them on during the day and stuff. And the fact that it glitched and broke at that time was perfect.
Yeah.
I don't but would they be that bad or mad to turn it off during the game? They couldn't do that. Cuz they tried to turn it on. I don't know. That was silly.
It did, yeah. Like afterwards, like there was many screens that kept on going on and off, but man, it was just ridiculous the fact that many people like kept on posting it, and I don't know if it was because of like it went viral or like to a certain point or something. Because
Hey,
yeah,
my tweet did well on that.
that
It got like 150 likes or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, that went off because it was so silly. But I mean, Josh, they're gonna chant, when you're down. You can't just stop. That's even worse. But it definitely sucks, to keep chanting when you're down. But I really liked. I think it's kind of weird, but when they do the thing at the beginning of the game with the song, I think that was pretty cool. I think
yeah,
because they
yeah,
got the
no,
whole
but
stadium. They got the whole
yeah, no, I
stadium doing
actually
it.
got a pretty good video of it, man, and I actually should have like uploaded it on here and like actually shared it. But there was I got a really good video where like yeah, they got like everybody jumping and dude, it was pretty legit. Like it
They
was
got,
like man, that was a whole vibe, honestly, and like that
like,
was pretty neat, honestly. Like that was probably the one thing that I would say that was like I kind of envy that, from like them
yeah.
because that's the one thing that they were able to get like everybody like literally 90% of that stadium was like jumping, like literally
hmm
cheering, and it was man, it was like Champions League like material sort of stuff.
Yeah, I really like We Ready, but they only do it in the supporter section,
Yeah, and it's just like, it's like, they're just like going from side to side. And I mean, I'm not criticizing the
It's
supporters
cool.
because I know
I
how they
like it.
get, but man, if it was, man, like if they would just get everybody on board, with something, it would
hmm
just, it would be neat, man. It would be neat.
Yep.
But guys, we have obviously hit pretty much everything with Atlanta United so far, but we got something else, that we wanted to hit real quick with the new
Let's
World
go.
Cup format that we have coming into 2026.
What's your
Next
take?
World Cup that will be hosted here between Canada, Mexico, and the US, obviously. And the new format is, they're going to be having 48 teams. There will be 12
Wow.
groups of four. Obviously the
Oof.
four teams per group it stays that way. And two of the top, or the top two of each group, would make the round of 32, and
And
the
a couple
best,
threes, right?
yeah,
I, uh,
and the best eight third places would also make that best of 32. And also in total there will be 104 games, up from 64, which was the total last year. So yeah,
money.
yeah, that's
It's
honestly,
cool.
that's got to be the biggest reason. And I mean, it's not only money, like, when it comes to the cities that are going to be hosting, but also TV rights and stuff like this.
Yep.
One thing that I saw, and I mean, I completely forgot the podcast that I heard it from. It was a soccer podcast that I heard it on, but and it made so much sense why they would try to have, like, the a World Cup with 48 teams, because that means that there will be more chances for other teams that, normally or probably never have made it to the World
Yep.
Cup. Teams like India and China, which have like literally two of the biggest populations in the world. And what does that mean? More revenue for, or more viewership, from those certain areas. So it does make more sense what they would want to have, those, you know India against freaking USA or Mexico or something like that, or the fact that they even want to get more teams involved, and that's something good, and I really like that, because and I'm throwing that out there, man, because Honduras literally has one of the probably the worst generations, in the last 40 years or so when it comes to soccer.
Hmm.
um and the fact that obviously Mexico, Canada, and the USA have already qualified, that gives more chances for the Central American teams, the
Yep.
Caribbean teams, to be able to make it into the World Cup. And you're having the World Cup, that first World Cup where you're able to combine all these countries and all this in the US, where is you have literally the most diverse population than any other country. So it's like literally the fucking smartest move, honestly, when it comes to marketing, honestly.
Yeah, it is. The only positive is the more teams, the teams that don't usually qualify. That's cool.
Dude, I'm God, man, I'm just praying for India, for like,
Yeah.
or India, or like China, or like Pakistan, to like freaking eliminate Portugal from the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, it should be fun. But more games, I guess. More games at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. There you go. You can take that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that, I mean, they still haven't even decided on that so far, I believe, whether uh what cities are gonna get like certain matches or whatever. I know that it was rumored that Atlanta United, or Mercedes-Benz Stadium, was gonna be hosting up to one of the semifinals, but
Hmm.
that's still yet to be actually confirmed by FIFA. So
We'll see. I think that's
yeah,
this year that will be announced. I think maybe next year. It's either this year or next year. I know that they'll announce like all the fixtures and who's hosting them. So we'll see.
yeah,
Should be great.
and yeah. Just real quick, uh, before we head off, because yeah, we already hit like past the hour mark. CONCACAF
Yeah.
Champions League.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Austin and what's the name of the team? Violet.
Violet or Violet? I'm not sure.
Violet. Yeah, I don't know how
Nil
to
nil.
pronounce it, but yeah,
I think they'll
nil
see it
nil.
out. I think they will. That would be great. Them losing.
And
Yeah.
Philadelphia against Alianza.
Is that 1-0?
Philly is up 1-0.
Oof. Tough.
So I think that pretty much like seals it for them. I mean, even if
Yeah.
Alianza, I think, like, go on the front foot and try to, get forward. Philly's one of those just those miserable teams that you hate to play against whenever you're down 1-0, because they're gonna
Yep.
time waves. They're gonna like just be
Hmm.
douchebags, honestly.
I mean, yeah. I think Alianza got a red card as well.
Yeah,
So
40th minute. Yeah,
that's probably it. But
yeah,
it was a good
yeah,
try. It was a good try.
definitely. Yeah, and then obviously the other game, which I would think, it's pretty much sealed up. It's Atlas and Olympia. Uh,
Hmm.
Olympia won 4-1, the first game. And then tomorrow, uh who plays from MLS? Orlando City plays against Tigres from Mexico, and LAFC. you know, they're I'm pretty sure they're just gonna throw a bunch of second team players on there.
Yeah.
Uh, that's the one series that I think is pretty much done. It's the LAFC and Alajuelense.
Well, what about your boys in Honduras? They're up
Who
4-1, right?
Motagua
Yeah.
or Motagua against Pachuca? I don't think
No,
they're
Olympia.
gonna.
Olympia.
Oh well,
Oh, that's today. Oh,
yeah,
I thought
that's
that was
today.
today.
That's later. I mean,
Are you
it's. I
watching?
mean, they're already up 4-1. I think in
That's a late one.
yeah.
I mean, I think they got it. You
Yeah,
want
and
to check that.
like I think I was mentioning earlier before, and I think that's when the signal was cutting off, the Wi-Fi was going out. But that's one of the reasons that I want Philly to like actually
Hmm.
go on into the next round is because I want them to face Olympia because well I think it was like 2 years ago like Olympia eliminated Montreal and like Seattle like right after they had won MLS Cup and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so much like, yeah, Philly's this good team and all that, but there's a lot of similarities, in the style that they play. So I think that one of them is gonna have to. I don't know, man. I'm just like really hoping for that game to happen, honestly, because I'm gonna be
I think
talking
they got a
so
shot.
much.
That would
Ah,
be a good one.
yeah. Yeah, and Josh talking about here about the Orlando City game.
I
Yeah,
think
that was the Gallese game last week against Tigres.
Tigres will roll them, but they should have last game. But Galese was fantastic. But I think Tigres should roll them this time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully. But I mean, yeah, hopefully. I don't like any of these MLS teams in there except for Vancouver, and they're not
Yeah,
all that great.
that's the only one that is likable.
I mean, really, it's true. But why don't an interesting thing? Why don't Seattle get invited back? They for winning it last year. You know
Right? That's one thing that it should
that makes no sense.
yeah.
Whatever. They probably were just trying to free up spots for like the League's Cup and all that crap. But actually, I don't mind LAFC either. They're fun to watch. Regardless. I don't hate them too much
Yeah, well, I mean, that
for
has
some
to be
reason.
like their like turning point for them, or like their objective, I guess you could say, quote unquote, this season has to be CCL. I
Yeah,
mean, you're yet to see Carlos Vela so far this season, but still, you still think that with the roster that they have, that's what they will prioritize so far, or going on to this season. I mean, I think that even I mean, you saw that last year with Seattle. They put so much emphasis into winning CCL, and then
mhm,
they didn't make it to the playoffs for the first time in their history. So
yeah.
I don't think that LAFC and that are in that same position just because that they have 27 DPs and they're able to just break every single MLS rule that there is. So
I think it's silly that there's a bracket for this. I don't know why they don't draw. I
they
guess they want
should,
to.
yeah.
I guess they want to avoid like league on league. I guess I don't know. But yeah, it does look like Olympia and Philadelphia.
Yeah, but I mean, even in Champions League, they do that, man. That I think the round of 16, you're not able to draw the obviously from the same
Yeah,
group
there's
that you had.
pots. Yeah,
Yeah, but you're not able to draw
yeah.
any team from the same country.
But
So,
Vancouver and LAFC look like the quarterfinal matchup, which should
mm.
be.
Yeah, LAFC are in the semifinals already, but
Mhm. And then Pachuca Tigres would be really good as well.
yeah.
That would definitely be one to watch. But
Jeez.
I don't know how much is the new format expanded because there's so many spots up for grabs in like the new League's Cup because there's 3 spots. I think there's 3 spots up for grabs in League's Cup. It's the winner, the runner
Yeah,
up,
second
and
place.
third, I
Yeah.
think. So How does the 2024 CONCACAF Champions League work? I, I wasn't a big fan of the Champions League back in the day when we were in it personally. I think it killed us, but I would love to be in it again. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much necessarily that it killed us; it's just the fact that
oh my goodness.
you lack, you know, I guess playing time because
Hmm.
what you were barely like a game or two into MLS season, so obviously that's always something that kills you.
Yeah. So, wow, this is crazy. There's gonna be 27 next year.
Teams in
That's
CONCACAF Champions League,
compared to 16. That is huge.
damn,
So, Leagues Cup has 3. MLS has 5 from just the league itself. US Open Cup, Canada Cup. Now there's Canadian
supporter
Premier
shield.
League. Canadian Premier League? What? 6 from Mexico and 6 from Central America. That's crazy. So
Well, I mean, honestly, well, they're not
that's a lot of
including like
teams.
any teams from the Caribbean in there or like the
Oh,
islands.
3 Caribbean.
Okay.
But I
Well,
mean,
that's weird, man, because they're like trying to emphasize it so much on like MLS and yeah,
yeah,
because like dude, imagine if like you have like three or say two teams make it to the top three in League's Cup. And then obviously you already have like those spots for US Open Cup, Supporter Shield, MLS Cup.
yeah.
Uh dude, you're gonna have like so many teams from MLS. Like, I feel like they're trying to like
It's
force
way
it to
too
like so
many.
MLS team like wins it again.
So I feel like there's guaranteed 5 from MLS, and I think you can get 1 or 2 more from the Leagues Cup, and then you have the US Open Cup and the Canadian Cup, which is always MLS. So it's like it's like 5, like 8 or 9 teams maybe. At least like 7. At the least
Yeah,
it's 7. But I mean,
that's
hey, we could look at
crazy.
Atlanta United getting a bid this year. Oh, we're 3 games in. I need to shut up. We're not great.
I know,
It,
man.
it feels like it's like August and we're like undefeated. We
Things are
played
just
3 games.
it's just like when you first take like that first I don't know if you drink coffee or like energy drinks, but you're just
Yeah,
like
coffee. Yeah.
when you first take that sip and you're just like you know like it's hit and you're just like, yeah, this is nice. This is good.
Could this be, we could
Yeah.
look back at this Charlotte week is last year's SKC week. Like this could be the high. Like this could be it right here, you know?
No, we hope this is actually like low, man, because once we actually start facing better teams, man, it's only gonna get harder, man. So if anything, this has to be like, yeah, like we're winning games, but yeah, we know that we still haven't really faced anything that's gonna really rattle up the defense or anything like that. So
Yeah, but I mean, we could lose next week and then 12 players get injured and it's just 2022 again, you know?
gosh. Yeah, knock on wood.
No, but hey, we should be chilling. We should get 3 points. I'm really excited for Champions League next year. That should be fun. And hopefully Atlanta can get one because I don't. It's very plausible for us to get one.
Yeah, I mean, you have Supporter Shield, you
It's like
have
I'll pull up back.
honestly, obviously, I think, me
Hmm.
personally, like I think the toughest road to make it would actually be, winning it through MLS Cup because you have US Open Cup, but it's only a certain amount of games, like what, 6, 7 games.
Yeah.
Uh the Canadian, championship, and then the Supporter Shield is just regular season.
Hmm.
So I think, man, just making it in there, whether it's Leagues Cup or whatever, man, that really has to put like a big, like a big focus point, I guess, going into next season, not always obviously
Yeah.
just for the team, but for Garth and the people that are gonna be coming in, new players or whoever it is. the
So
scouting team, or
I think the bare minimum to qualify would be finishing like the fifth best team in MLS, like in the Supporters Shield standings, like fifth. I think you can get in. Maybe fourth. You'll have to get fourth in Supporters Shield. But
Mm.
hey, we should go for that. Like winning Open Cup would that's like an good season, regardless. Because that's with Orlando.
Yeah,
I
look
would
at
love
Orlando
to win that.
last year. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
They
I would love
won.
to win a cup, Open Cup. That would be insane. Um,
Either honestly, man, what? Yeah, I mean, U.S. Open Cup. I mean, obviously, it's like the easiest trail.
oh yeah.
Obviously within MLS, but I mean,
Ooh.
either whether it's that or Leagues Cup, where you're facing teams from Mexico as well, dude, that would be a huge, huge factor for Atlanta United going into MLS. It'll be like a big boost momentum going into next year.
Austin scored Driussi, but
Damn.
yeah, I think Open Cup, you're gonna have Eric Lopez running it up in the Open Cup. You're gonna have probably Abram in there, Amar Sadic, guys like that. You could put a really solid squad together for Open Cup, and you can play Wiley, start ETN, and you can be successful in that. I feel like you're set up. Like if you don't have injuries, you're set up to have a pretty good run. And I
What?
don't.
We
But
won one
that's
in
true. Hey,
2019.
we got the Carabao Cup, man. But less than a month ago, Menu, come on. But I don't know when do we enter the U.S. Open Cup? It's round 3, right? Um,
Not sure, man.
I think we got a chance, to really do something. Um, man, it's gonna be good. Third round is April 25th through 26th. So about a month, basically. That more than a month and a week. So it'll be good. And those matches start up next week, a week from today. Is the first round with the open teams. Um,
Yeah.
hopefully we can get. I would like to play Chattanooga again, or like Birmingham Legion. Maybe actually they're
Yeah,
pretty
man. I
good.
need y'all to come to I need you to come to Charleston.
Oh yeah, we could play the Battery. We can play.
That those first 3 years, man, playing the battery always seems like it was
Yes.
like the tradition, bro.
Oh, that's true. I would like to play
That
Chattanooga.
if we play the battery this year,
Yeah.
that's like the recipe for success, because it's that
Yeah.
every year that we play the battery, it seems like we had a good year.
Then hopefully we somehow draw a USL team in round 4, and then round 5 and 6 you can go hard and get some wins.
We got somebody from LA. Shout out to
Hey,
Edgar.
there
He
we
was
go.
always on there on my on Twitter.
Whew.
Ready,
So,
and Sprawl B, ready for some Johnny Fortune,
oh yeah,
bossing
that's
it in the Open Cup. Yeah, he's definitely one of those names that you're gonna be seeing out there in the starting lineups out there.
and Eric Lopez for sure.
Yeah,
He's gonna be
you
good. I'm
didn't. I
so.
mean, even guys like Noah Cobb.
Oh yeah, Cobb.
I
Yep.
mean, you've
Ronald. Ronald
what's the Aiden McFadden.
McFadden. Yeah, at left back.
You're definitely gonna see those guys, somewhat starting to transition from the twos into the first team.
Yeah,
So
Eric Lopez is gonna be Vasquez, but at the number 10 position this year. We'll see.
yeah, yeah, we
Um,
got the
I don't know. I'm excited for Open Cup. It's always fun. Hopefully the game's at KSU so I can go up there because it was fun last year at KSU, where Dom Dwyer went off. But yeah, I mean Fortune's cracked. I mean, what Pineda and he got like pressed today at training. It was Juanjo and him. That was pretty interesting. Yeah. Let's go. Let's focus on Portland. We're getting too ahead of ourselves. We're gonna win the Open Cup. We're gonna qualify for Champions League. You know, 3 games in, I don't like it, but let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well,
Top of
guys,
the East.
yeah. Hey, top of the East.
Hmm.
Looking at you down there.
And Charlotte, where are they? 15th.
Freaking last. Uh, well, guys, we've hit more than an hour mark on here. Obviously, unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties early on, so that's what
Hmm.
we had to prolong this a little bit more.
Yeah.
But obviously, don't forget to subscribe to Fearless Sports Podcast, and uh you obviously go follow James ATL UTD James on Twitter, Resurge Spike ATO on Twitter.
Mhm.
That's my personal page on there. And one last question that
Yeah,
we had from Edgar.
real quick. St. Louis are missing the playoffs. They're nothing to worry about. This is their nice fluke run. It's just my opinion, but I mean they've come from behind in every game. Their goals are kind of jammy. I don't they don't move me,
You know
unfortunately.
what?
What do you think?
Well, since now there's that new MLS format for the
Yeah,
playoffs as
9
well.
to get ninth.
Yeah, I
I
see
think
them getting
they could
eighth,
definitely get it.
ninth.
Yeah,
I see them
but
definitely playing like that wild card, game.
that's true.
But yeah, I don't see them definitely being anything that it's anything special. I don't see them being a LAFC or an Atlanta United, in the early years. But yeah, that could. Speaking of St. Louis, I mean, there were rumors that Roberto Firmino from Liverpool was in the radar
Nah,
for St. Louis. So
that was a good joke.
yeah, I don't
He
know
might
how
come
that.
here though, but I don't know. That would be scary. He's still very good. Very, very good. But we'll see.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
well,
and that was at home. Yeah, for Portland.
we'll
Then
see. Guess who St. Louis beat before that? Charlotte, you know? I would l- I think it'll be a nice little 2-week trend of beating teams who got scraped by St. Louis the week before. You know,
yeah,
that would be nice.
we
And
do play St. Louis sometime this
no,
season,
we
dude.
no.
We
Nah, we
don't.
don't. Nah, I wish we did. We play
Yeah, that was preseason
LAFC.
that we did, right? If I'm
We
not
play
mistaken.
LAFC. I know that out of the West. We
Yeah.
play Portland, obviously, and I
Yeah, we
don't know
play
who we.
Seattle as well.
Oh, Seattle. We play Seattle every year. Come on.
Yeah. August as well, which we played them last August, and I remember for some reason I remember like that Gutman like screamer so vividly.
Weren't you at that game? That was a good
Yeah,
one.
it was.
That was such a good game.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, and for some reason, Atlanta United always seems to hype us.
Hey, we were two
August. August
games
seems that August is like the peak, like month
hype
for
period.
Atlanta United every
I
single
think it's
year.
right now. I feel like this is the peak. You know,
Well, no, if this is the peak, then I don't. I don't know,
maybe
man.
hopefully next
Don't even
week.
hype me up, man.
Let's keep postponing the peak to next week. We'll win, and
Yeah,
you know. But
yeah,
we were 2 games off
but
last year.
Edgar's. But for real, I'm curious about rivalries in the South. Now that Nashville has entered the room, do y'all see as big rivals brewing, or is it still Crown and Coke?
I like Nashville.
Honestly,
Nashville's
yeah.
like good rivalry. Like I hate
I,
them, but I like the game. It's always competitive, you know, even though they play terrible soccer over there.
but
But
don't you think that personally?
yeah,
I think that Nashville right off the bat came off as a bigger rival than Charlotte has.
I feel like
And honestly, you had, the whole Anton Walks, situation happen preseason. And I think that somewhere or another that kind of like bonds in a way, like both fan bases,
hmm
because and that's one thing that I saw a lot of one of the supporter groups from Charlotte came out with a scarf, that all the funds were gonna be going into the Anton Walk's family, or like the foundation that he has or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember right off the top of my head, but um that's, I don't know, like I just don't see that. I don't really see that with Charlotte and Atlanta United. Neither did I really see it with Orlando and Atlanta United, because Atlanta United low key has always like really just been much superior to Orlando. But with Nashville, it just seems like the fan base is butt more heads. The team itself, like like the results are more evened out. It's not like you have like a crazy blowout. You've never seen, or you
Hmm.
haven't seen so far, Nashville put up 3 goals against Atlanta United, or vice versa. So I think personally, that's like the biggest rival, or the biggest one that we bump heads with.
Yeah, and we're already bringing 1.3 thousand people to that game. Hopefully, I'm going. I'm not sure yet.
Particularly salty with everybody.
Yeah.
I like Edgar. Edgar seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. From LA.
Yeah.
I hope if one away game, I want to go to LAFC. We might lose, but I mean it's LA,
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
I thought we
But
played the Galaxy for some reason this season, but
last year we were in LA for Galaxy.
yeah,
That
yeah,
game sucked.
yeah.
Man, Austin of
Oh yeah, I
21.
remember that game. That's when we
Rocco
lost
Rios
like three
Novo.
zero. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It wasn't 3-0, but it was close. It was like 2-0. So it was bad.
Yeah, I know it was bad because I do remember it was like a Friday night game or like a Saturday night game,
Mm.
like pretty late, and
Jorge
yeah,
Campos went to training the day before, and then Novo dropped an absolute stinker.
yeah.
But let's
Who?
let's let's beat Portland. Jorge Campos, the
No, I'm
short.
talking about Rocco.
Oh, oh, Rocco. Oh gosh, so glad he's gone. That's one guy you wanted
Yeah.
out.
R.I.P. to those times.
All right, Portland, man. Let's do it. Let's come back
Yeah.
next week.
3 points. That's it. Nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Well, yeah, man. Guys, thank you for being on here, for the ones that have been commenting on here. And we will see you hopefully next week.
All
Go
right.
ahead and end it.